Welcome to Around the Blockchain. Going to be a fantastic episode today. We're talking about VCs and their little side tokens. That's right. Some of those meme and gaming tokens. What's going to happen to those? Why are they down? Also, Google being predicted to be in one of the biggest losers of the year. The reason might surprise you. And finally, we're going to talk about a little coin maybe you've heard of called Cardano. Some call it Cardano, some call it Cardano, and it is way up. Cardano is pumping 23% on the 7-day, many hours in the double digits for the 24 hours. We're going to try to decipher why is it pumping. It's going to be a great episode. We got some great guests today. We'll go ahead and get it started. One of my favorites that we have on here, always love having on, is Piano Matty B. You might be in for a treat if you see him, take it home. He's rocking those old Houston Rocket colors, although I don't think that's the logo he was wearing today. But how are you doing today, Piano Matty B?
Good. How's it going up? It's Georgia, right? You guys are in Georgia?
It is Georgia. It is Georgia.
Is
finally
it hot
starting
there?
to warm up. It's finally not 16 degrees.
Is that Fahrenheit?
That is Fahrenheit. That is
Celsius.
Fahrenheit. Yeah, it was pretty
Okay.
bad. I don't know what that'd be Celsius. 7, something like that. All right. Also on the show today, you maybe recognize that studio, Sin City Crypto. Heard you hosted BitBoy. How did that go?
It was good, man. It's always a good time having been in studio. A lot of fun. There's no shortage of energy from that man.
All right. Did the
So,
desk break?
he parties all night.
Is the desk
Parties
still
all night
working?
and comes in and knocks out the work.
Okay. All right. Awesome. And first time on this year, at least, it is Vic. How do you say your last name there, buddy?
Laranja.
Laranja. I wasn't sure if it was the
Yes, sir.
ha noise. All right. Vic is going to be holding it down with the best looking background I've ever seen. It looks like, I don't know, we're straight from the Twitch headquarters. Like I said, we're going to talk about some of these VC tokens. And I got some alarming data here. VC reports half of their liquidity is now being held back by the lack of a launch of a token. This is Take Spartan, and this is just a regular VC firm. They had 108 token projects they invested in. Only 40% have listed on exchanges, meaning around 60% of these gaming tokens have yet to release a token, either pushed it back, canceled altogether. Now, Piano Matty B, a lot of these people, they're impatient. They want their gaming token to launch, presumably to dump on retail here. But is it a blessing in disguise that they're not launching today? Do you think a gaming token would be better off maybe launching a year from now or 6 months from now, closer to that halving date?
I do, because what's going to happen now? It's going to come out to basically limited seating. Half the show is left, right? And they're waiting for the next show to begin. But I have to say, I do spend a lot of my time wondering, how are these poor VCs doing in this bear market? Are they getting by, or are they just barely getting by? It really haunts me at night. It keeps me up. But what are they going to do? Release it to nobody? Probably not. I think the best thing they can do is wait, no matter what people are. The only thing that's going to launch it probably is pressure from the inside. We got to get it out. We got to get it out. But, they get it out and it'll be too soon. And then boom, it's over. So they kind of lose either way.
All right, for just those at home may not know exactly what you're talking about. When you say only half the parties here, what do you mean by only half the party? Why should they wait for the party to be full swing?
Well, the party I'm referring to is the retail investor, the people that are kind of waiting. Well, half of them are gone now. If not, the majority of it's the old school are just waiting out this bear market. But the party is the retail investor, so I don't think they're really in the seats yet.
All right. Let's talk about some of these other flagships. We have Pantera Capital. They're down 71% year to date from September of 22. Andreessen Horowitz, also known as A16Z. Now, Sin City Crypto, I want to ask you, they're down 40%. But when you look at the rest of the crypto market, that's actually doing pretty awesome. How do you think Andreessen Horowitz, what is their secret sauce where they only fell 40% the first 6 months, whereas a lot of things fell 80%, 90%, sometimes 99%?
Well, there's a couple things going on right now, especially in the venture capital world. Let's not forget that a lot of venture capital right now is down 80% year over year. We have, obviously, Alameda Research is out. You have Three Arrows Capital out as well. So there's less money in the system moving around. There's less liquidity flowing into new projects. And so the ones that are around are also down as well. Remember that a lot of these profits that venture capital makes, they funnel over to other projects. And so if you're down across the portfolio, you have less cash to inject into new projects. So that's one thing. Also, with Andreessen Horowitz, we have talked to some high level officials that work there. They are buying like crazy. They're very excited for these times. If you think that Andreessen Horowitz A16Z is in the same boat where they're taking time off, I don't find that to be accurate. I think that if the biggest venture capital right now are making the biggest moves. And as we know, with just regular retail, it is pretty similar for institutions and venture capital as well. You buy when it's low. And it's the top traders in Wall Street investment and hedge funds, the ones that are known for buying when it's low and when people are scared. So right now, I think your retail investor is scared. Who's not scared is these big venture capital companies that have large budgets to throw into new projects. So don't let the institutions get all the tokens while it's cheap. Dollar cost average. Get into your favorite projects now, because if you wait for the rally to come back, you're going to be buying the way up again. And we know this is where the money is made.
Sin City, you brought up a good point where, after they're down, significantly, that's less money to deploy into another project. What do you think envision that they put most of this money? Is this chasing the next gaming token? So maybe that buck comes to a stop. Are they putting this back into Bitcoin or Ethereum, or are they pulling out and stacking some of that dirty fiat?
Well, they're just practicing sound investment when it comes to risk on assets and to highly speculative tokens and projects. Is that you spread your buys out? You don't go all in on one project. And so, as you mentioned, 60% of these tokens or projects aren't even listed on exchanges, but 40% of them are. And you know what? They bought those in at a steal, at an extremely discount. And so, I'd say the same. If you're going to dabble in if you're going to have kind of the same mindset of venture capital does, is by investing or purchasing in on some tokens while it's extremely cheap, new, and before the market has completely adopted it, you're taking on a substantial amount of risk that's going to have a big payout or reward on the back end for the ones that you do nail. But you're gonna swing and miss at 80% of them. But the ones that you do hit, is gonna outweigh the cost of the ones that you didn't put in. So it's just standard venture capital process. And if you're going to do that yourself, if you're a retail and you want to identify some projects, you're going to shop outside the top 100 on a coin market cap list. Just spread out your buys, pick 10, 20 projects. If you got $1,000, put in $50 on each one, or $100 on each one, pick 10 projects or 20 projects, or you got 10,000, you do a 100 or $50, whatever your budget is. If you're going to be allocating into speculative assets, just mitigate your risk by spreading out your investments into multiple projects, and then also multiple industries as well. Don't just put all your eggs into NFTs, because what if that space doesn't pop off quite as heavily as other ones? So I would also diversify the sectors you're in. So go into DeFi, go into NFTs, go into metaverse perhaps, and then layer one smart contracts, and then maybe like some liquid staking. That's how I would approach it, and I think that's the most diversification you can get, the better.
Yeah, no, it's great example for this good strategy for nonlinear upside. You don't know what is going to be the 20x, so invest in 20 things. Hope that you get one or two 20x's. You can only lose 1x unless you use leverage. Don't use leverage, folks. But you can only lose 1x. Your upside potential could be a lot more than one, though. All right, last question on this topic. Vic Laranja, I want to ask you about the VCs and how are they going to react next cycle? Do you think that they're going to continue to FOMO and not learn their lesson? If so, what industry or what sector of crypto do you think is going to be most attractive? Or are they still licking their wounds and they're going to miss out and buy the next pump?
Yeah, I think regulations is going to be a big part of that specific conversation. What is actually going to be available and what's just going to be extremely risky or pretty much untouchable. We saw a huge pull into gaming projects throughout 2022. That was, I think, the talk of the town was metaverse game with Meta's big push that made it just a viral topic. And, I was even talking to founders at different conferences and events who had fundamentally great projects. They had great utility, and they were just throwing out the idea of adding a game function into their already great project. And to me, it was just a red flag that we might have seen the top, and we definitely did, obviously at the end of 2021, but it was gaming all the way in 2022. I don't know what the next utility that will be hot that will be. It might be AI, integrating AI into blockchain projects. There are already a couple of blockchain projects that are pretty big that have AI functionality, but as we see AI become more mainstream and more viral, it probably will take a front stage with blockchain projects, because that is how the Web3 community operates. People definitely want to make money in this space, and they're going to chase that hot dollar. And right now, it's an artificial intelligence.
Do you feel? I mean, we're not trying to pump some super super small micro cap, but what are some of the larger, more trusted AI plays that you're maybe looking at?
From the one that I know of mostly is VXV. They have, from what I understand, an NLP built into it, which is kind of like uh, Chat GPT. But I haven't dove too deep into exactly what they have going on.
All right, and we're not recommending anything. Do your own
Yes.
research. Piano, same question. What do you think the next trend is going to be? I kind of like the choice of AI. Do you think it's AI, DeFi? Is it Bitcoin payment play, or are we going to go back in time and maybe gaming metaverse?
Well, I always thought during December when AI kind of softly creeped out, like there wasn't this huge launch into the universe. It was just like AI is here, and I thought that that was maybe one of the biggest things that might have happened, not only in the year but maybe in the past 50 years. Like it's such a huge thing to comprehend, and if you go down any like wormhole, it's never ending with the AI, and everyone has their own kind of bias. Well, they can never reproduce what I do or what this does, or whether you're a musician, actor, or engineer. But the answer is it can reproduce basically everything, probably better. So the fact that it hasn't got as much attention as it has yet, I think life's different. We just don't know it yet, and it's that's how big it is.
All right, who makes a better melody, Piano Matty B or the AI?
Well, see, that's what I thought, right? I said, well, let's say they say, I want to see DZ play piano in a 1920s bar. Click, right? And then they'll have your likeness that you've spoke so many words on YouTube already. They'll know everything. And then I said to myself, well, they're still going to need songs to play. And then I realized, no, they'll be able to write songs because music is math, right? And
Yeah.
what is binary, right?
All right. Good questions there. Good points there. All right. Let's move on and talk about Google. Last weekend's all in. You can see Chamath Palihapitiya. He had some bold statements seen here looking out his windows. SPF knocks on the window begging for money. But he is saying AI, speaking of AI, is going to be one of the big topics of 23. In fact, he set out a bold prediction. It is going to destroy Google in the long term. He's saying one of the biggest potential losers this year is Google search as measured by pure profitability and engagement. And one of the most obvious threats is Google's Chat GPT. Now, Piano, I mean, while we're still talking about this subject, it seems like it's solving copywriting. You're kind of given a similar situation for music here. How long are we away from a fully finished 2.5, 3.5 minute pop song that climbs a top 40? Is this something that you could see in the next 12 months, or are we still maybe 5 years away?
Well, it's hard to say because I kind of like in 2023 Chat GPT too. Do you remember when like the stealth fighter came out? And
Yeah.
everyone's like, oh my
It was the
God,
biggest
this is
thing. How are we even supposed to have a picture of this?
right. And that was probably 2 decades old by the time it
Yep.
appeared to us plebs, right? So now we're dealing with 2023 GPT. Who knows? This could be 10 years old and they're just going to roll it out. They've already got it 5 years from now, but they just, inch us in, collect our data. What do they really want? And then they kind of that make it more better for us, right? So this is what
Yeah.
we're looking at. We're looking at the stealth fighter from 20 years ago.
So who knows what's behind closed doors? Scary prospect indeed. I did see a kneeling Arnold Schwarzenegger in a parking lot without any clothes. I just sped up. I just kept going. I didn't know. I know how that movie ends. All right, Sin City Crypto. What do you think is the number one thing that's gonna face the biggest threat here? Is it artists? Is it a Matty B, or is it a maybe a more traditional artist with visual mediums? Or do you think it is like a large corporation like a Google that maybe didn't think how far AI could, beat their product when it comes to interaction.
I think it's basic human intelligence. I
Mm.
mean, at this point, you can use a computer software to crutch research and do some of your own work. You can take shortcuts on your academics in college. You can use AI to help you at work. And so, if the boss gives you a job or task or wants you to create something, you can simply put your job or task into a computer and boom, it'll spit out analytics for you or whatever you're trying to accomplish. And so, I think it can't be understated the arrival, what is happening right now. There are some people, honking the horn on, hey, this is bad, man. This is going to replace Google. And you know what? When you had your search engines at the beginning of the internet, nobody realized how big that was going to be. Nobody realized the potential that these search engines were going to have. We talked about emails, we talked about chat rooms, we talked about connectivity and websites. But I mean, you don't go on the internet probably at least once a day. You go on the internet and you use a search engine. And now there is a more efficient and optimized search engine that can communicate with you and operate tasks. And that is extremely frightening to me. And if this isn't managed correctly, we could spill over into Judgment Day from Terminator.
All right.
And, implementing this software into robotics it makes it physical. And, it's concerning me. And I don't necessarily think that this will translate into blockchain. I don't even know if blockchain makes it more efficient or vice versa. I could see some avenues where artificial intelligence and blockchain could work hand in hand. We see it with multiple algorithms already. It is mostly computer code, so it kind of makes sense. It's not a foregone conclusion that blockchain and AI are going to be wrapped together. Now, I do think it is likely or a strong possibility that in the next bull run, we see AI-driven platforms rise to the top. In the same way that metaverse wasn't ready. You can't put on the VR headset and go hang out in the metaverse. Can't. It's not here. Technology's not here, but it doesn't stop people from investing. It was one of the strongest assets that rallied last bull market. Was off of the potential. Now I can see the same thing happening in the next bull market. We see the growth of the AI and we start talking about AI and crypto. Oh my God, it's a match made in heaven. And everyone piles into it, even though the technology isn't rolled out yet. That I can see happening. So for me, I will be identifying AI-based projects because I think they have the potential to moonshot.
All right. And this is obviously, satire here, but find a meme token called Skynet, find 5 of them, just put $100 in all of them. You're probably going to have one of them pump. Clearly not real, but I wouldn't be surprised if something does that makes you rich. All right. Let's, on this note here, Vic, man, he's painting a pretty scary picture here where the biggest loser is the collective human intelligence. We're well on our way to the movie Idiocracy, it seems like. I want to ask you the opposite of that. For the next year or two, who's going to be the biggest winner from AI-driven technology?
I think honestly, the average person is winning a lot with just like even the entertainment factor, which a lot of people aren't focusing on. But I've been playing with Midjourney, which is an AI art generator, and you basically give it prompts and it designs insane art. I've told it to take my face and turn me into a monkey. I've told it to take my face and turn me into Iron Man, and the results are like literally jaw dropping, shocking, as if some master of art, like digital masterpiece, created this, and it's amazing. So there's kind of an entertainment factor too. And with Chat GPT, I have asked Chat GPT when I'm hungry, like, hey, what should I eat? This is what I have in my fridge. What can I eat with this? And it will literally print me out a bunch of recipes. Like, I'm winning in that situation. This is just really, really great technology. And I do want to touch really quickly on the last question, because I think there's one industry that is going to be disrupted heavily from AI, specifically the style of Chat GPT AI that we're seeing, and that's lawyers. And there was actually a study done by a company called Law Geeks who creates legal AI that scans documents. And they basically gathered 20 different lawyers. There's either 20 or 30 different lawyers that were handpicked from prestigious professors in the law field, and they paired it up against this AI to examine non-disclosure agreements. And the AI performed in 26 seconds. It scored 94% accuracy versus the lawyers who took about 3 hours and only scored 85% accuracy of finding out, okay, these are the different flaws in this NDA. Now, the argument here is that these professions that are going to be threatened can actually use AI to make their jobs faster, kind of like what we talked about. I don't necessarily see in the short term these software applications being rolled out at mass market, being understood by 100% of the population, and being utilized in a way where they actually put other people out of business necessarily. However, for the more technologically inclined people, like us, the people watching this podcast right now, we understand more so how this technology can work, how we can benefit from it, and we can start replacing different things that maybe we would outsource. Like I'm writing a sales page, I'll use Chat GPT instead of hiring a copywriter. And now I've saved me money, but now that copywriter is out of the, a few $100s, $1,000 they would have made off that project. So I think that we're going to see microtransactions in the job economy, the freelance economy, be damaged in the next couple of years. And it won't be maybe 3, 4, 5 years until we see a mass market adoption, real threat to Google, real threat to law firms and things of that such.
Yeah, no, real threat to my waistline. Now that I know I can give it my ingredients in my fridge, I'm definitely stealing that one. All right, let's talk a little Cardano.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Real quick, I just want to, you mentioned AI and lawyer and kind of some of the backstory on that. There was an interesting article that we were discussing today. There was actually a robot lawyer that will run for a first time ever will act as the lawyer for a defendant. The app is going to run on his phone, and then he's going to be giving him legal advice or counsel through an earpiece, and the guy's going to kind of defend himself. So you're going to have basically a representation from an AI software.
We'll see. The murder thing seems to be fake, but I really do want to see a case argued in front of the Supreme Court with AI. Since we are talking about, kind of the doom and gloom, Piano, last question on this topic. Did you see something similar? I know we're close to the same age. Did you see something similar in the 90s with the resurgence of technology? I'm kind of thinking around the era of Daft Punk, where electronic music went from CNC hit factory to kind of that next level of, synths and melodies. Were we having those same conversations then where technology is going to ruin the human spirit and, put people out of business?
Kind of, because if you were, say, a guitar player or someone who played an acoustic instrument, bass or drums, you were probably in the camp saying that, this EDM, it's just a bunch of nerds playing on their computers. It's not real music, right? Ended up becoming one of the biggest music trends maybe ever. But I also have one question, and maybe Vic or Sin City or DZ, you might have the answer to this. When I went into some of that art AI, I always hit a paywall, and I don't know if I was doing it wrong, but with the Chat GPT, is there a paywall that if I keep going, it'll say you've used too many questions, now you have to pay for it?
Well, Chat GPT is free, but Vic, you were talking about, what was that? Yeah. I've used it before. Who are they again?
Midjourney.
Midjourney basically is you do have to pay.
Yeah, so you actually get 25 different renders in your free trial, and then it's like $10 a month for nearly unlimited renders, which to me is like nothing for what you're getting, because we've actually taken Midjourney for an ad campaign we're running right now, and we've created Facebook ad creatives with Midjourney, and the subscription allows you to use this stuff for general use. You get the copyrights for it. So like we've created crazy stuff of like a cell phone with money exploding out of it. We would have had to spend hours photoshopping that, or hire some person on Fiverr or whatever and spend a bunch of money to create this stuff. But we created it in under 30 seconds by telling this AI bot what we wanted, literally saying, give me an iPhone with money exploding out of it, and it generates it.
Yeah.
Mind blowing.
Like the opposite of my crypto wallet the past 12 months. All right, let's talk about Cardano here. I really wanted to show this first. There's a lot of noise in the space about Cardano's placement in the coin market cap. Mainly, it got passed by Doge. And with this recent pump, you can see the 23% 7-day pump versus Doge's 4.5%. Now Cardano is the number 8 altcoin. I want to say top 5 once you take out stable coins. And look at that 1-day chart there. If you look at the 7-day, looks even more incredible. Now, Piano Matty B, you're a TA guy, and sometimes with some tunes and melodies, but I want to ask about the TA here. What is going on with this chart? I know that 33, 34 cents, it's been such strong support in the past months ago. Now it seems like it's turning into resistance. Was a lot of this, easily, maybe not easily, but could have this been predicted with some charts and some TA knowledge?
No, when you see like those hockey sticks, those are just dog piles. I mean, it'd be nice if you could if you could predict when those things are going to happen, but they're basic anomalies. And I think we'll probably see it kind of hit those fib retracements back down to normal. I mean, there probably are a small amount of insiders in there that knew it was going to pump, but the vast majority just dogpiled in, and now people are probably dogpiling in and going to be the liquid or the liquidity exit for it to go back down. So I don't get too excited. I think in the bear market we kind of get way too excited about these moves that really aren't that great. But it's like we're so unimpressed with our children. We're like, oh, look at little Timmy got a C plus on his spelling. Isn't that
Yeah.
great? It's like,
Yeah.
no, it's not. It's not great.
Well, I was down 95%. Now I'm only down 92%. Will you let me have my
There
W
you
here?
go. It's a happy day, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Congratulations.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. You know, it's the green background here. All right, Sin City Crypto. I'm looking at. There's a tweet here, and it was talking about why it pumped, and it looks like a lot of it was these addresses holding between 1 million to 100 million Cardano, aka the whales. So November and December they dumped 500 million coins, but so far they've already pulled in 250 million just to start the year. It's only been a week or two. What are the whales doing here? Is just this classic whale manipulation, or do you think that maybe Cardano's going to have a good 23?
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that there's a lot of whale movement, and that has been indicative of the price. If you look at total value locked, for example, you have Cardano up 30% for the week. Also, it is up, what is this? So 30% for the week, and then up 15% on the 24 hours. So a lot of money coming into the DeFi ecosystem, which I think is a big reason why it is pumped. Now, I think that you have a big push into different asset, different parts of Cardano over the macro sense. So you have NFTs are leaving Solana. You're starting to see them go there. Now you're also seeing the DeFi, which had left also Solana, but also you had Phantom and some other DeFi projects where there's not a lot left standing. And if you want the scalability and the speed, Cardano's getting faster. And so it kind of makes sense that DeFi would grow. My next sector, I think, in Cardano is going to grow is going to be NFTs. I mean, DZ, you're well aware of the growth in the NFT sector in Cardano. It seems that Cardano is kind of playing the field when it comes to their overall vision. They're trying to be scalable, get the throughput. On top of that, they have a focus on stable coins. They're working with nation states. So, when someone asks, like, what am I most excited about with Cardano is really nothing. I think they're doing exactly what layer one smart contract chains are supposed to do, and it is to work on everything. What is the best thing about a Windows computer? Well, there isn't anything. It's everything. That's the best part about it. It's got functionality with everything. You can run Word documents, and you can do accounting with it. You can surf the internet. So it's a multifaceted tool that runs dApps on top of it that it caters to everything, and it focuses on speed and security. The same can be said for the effective layer one blockchains. And right now, people are realizing, like, hey, DeFi is pretty badass on this thing. And they're starting to realize the same thing with all the other departments. And now with the Hydra coming out here with the next rollout, the throughput's going to go up through the roof. And so I don't know, man. Cardano's just looking really good for me, man. And at 25 cents, it might pull back again. I was DCAing in at 25 cents. I mean, barring some kind of catastrophic failure, which knowing Cardano, I doubt it's going to happen. I mean, it's pretty safe to assume that we're back to $1
Yeah.
within the next 2 years.
Yeah,
And,
I would
you
certainly.
know, the sky's kind of the limit.
Yeah, no, I like your analogy or your simile there where you compare it to Windows. You know, you think of Windows. What's your favorite thing about Windows? Probably not much. It has a little bit of everything. It works. I guess my favorite part is the founder buys all my country's farmland. That's cool, right? Vic,
Yeah.
also when it comes to Cardano, a lot of price surge in action, 28% over the last week. Also on the dev side, I'm looking at the Plutus smart contracts. They currently 4,800, but they added 700 just in December. I mean, you're looking at a significant portion just in the past 30 days. Is Cardano poised to be, one of the top L1s in your opinion for this coming year or two?
Yeah, I think honestly, we've kind of slept on Cardano for the last couple of years because they really seem to take their time with their developments. But we saw the hard fork come through after much anticipation, and it's successful. It's held its ground. It's been successful, and Hydra is eventually coming, and they're reaching the end of this roadmap. And I just see a bright future for them. I saw Charles Hoskinson talk at Consensus in Austin, and he had a lot to say about their work in Africa, which to me was just really, really looking forward. And it was just a brilliant outlook on how you can apply the blockchain to real life solutions. Talking about basically integrating into their school system. And when he really emphasized integrating into their school system and using the blockchain to do so, I immediately understood that he was not building this for just the school system and just the students within the African continent. He was building it because of where those students will be in the next 10 years. They're going to be adults and they're going to be well integrated into this Cardano ecosystem. And by that point, it'll be just enormously scalable, and it's built to be decentralized, unlike Solana, which we saw got the tail end of all this FTX stuff for the right reason, really. But it was a more centralized project. And again, that's probably why a lot of people and a lot of projects are moving over from Solana into Cardano ecosystem.
Yeah, and it's been interesting to see Charles' evolution. You said you saw him speaking. I've seen him at the last couple of Cardano events, but I remember this is almost 2 years ago. It was Bitcoin 21. I think it was April, so like 20 months ago. Walking around the art section of NFTs, no one following him, no one bothering him, just anonymous, just walking around, just like a regular guy. All right, well, I want to show this headline to you, Matty B, and I wanted to ask you the question here. It says $1.5 billion inflows into Cardano in a single day. Is ADA a good investment, Piano Matty B?
Well, here's the thing, DZ. There's a couple things I like about Cardano. One, I feel, and I could be wrong, that they're not in a huge rush to get anywhere. They have a nice little snail's pace. They just develop. When they make a mistake, everybody shut the door, and then they kind of regroup, and they take a long time to fix that one problem. And then they start back up, and they just snail pace along. And it's just, I like the fact that they're in no real rush to get anywhere. The second thing I like about it is I think Chucky Ho is high on my spec decks, and I like all my founders to be high on my spec decks.
Okay, can you describe your spec deck just a little?
It's a spectrum index.
So falconing.
How high you are on the spectrum.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Chucky Ho is high, but Vidi Boo Boos is even higher. So that's why Ethereum is valued more than Cardano.
Okay.
It's all about the spec decks.
Hey, we got to get that founder of Bitcoin to finally reveal his face. We got to know where you're at on the spectrum.
Give Matty a few more points for that. That got me going.
Yeah, that was good. I'm sure Hal Finney was up there. I think it was him. Now, Sin City Crypto. What do you think about that? I mean, there's a lot of, I don't want to say baggage, but Cardano is known for Charles Hoskinson on some level, and he's quote unquote the face of Cardano. Is this a good thing or is this a bad thing in your opinion?
It was a good thing for developing a community and getting that cult-like following. The man is very determined and driven, and he speaks with conviction, and a lot of people gravitate to that. So he's got at his core audience that believe in not only Cardano and the technology, but also believe in the man behind it. So I mean, for that, I mean, it's good advertising, it's good marketing. Not to mention, you need somebody, you need a spokesman, somebody that can answer tough questions, and when things don't go right, they can explain why it didn't, what they're doing to change it, what's on the horizon. I mean, you can look at like Polkadot lately, like that's a good example. Gavin Wood has stepped down from the Polkadot CEO position that he once held, and so is there anybody giving updates on Polkadot? I'm not saying they're not building. I'm not saying that they're not going through the roadmap, but it's definitely not front and center. It's not grabbing headlines, and we're not discussing the next implementation of Polkadot because there's nobody speaking about it. At least not at a level on a corporate level, and especially not somebody that has as much pull, rank, and respect as Gavin once did. Now you can look at Charles Hoskinson. He checks all the boxes. Now, he's also very polarizing as well, which it can also be negative. We've seen the people that hate on Cardano, and a lot of it stems from the fact that they don't like Charles Hoskinson. The man's pretty opinionated. He's not a fan of Bitcoin. He's not a fan of meme coins. He's not a fan of Solana. There's a lot of things he's not a fan of, and he wears it on his sleeve. And so if he goes against your favorite project, I could see a scenario where you get upset about it, you know?
Well, you said he wears it on his sleeve. Well, he likes his Falcon, and he does wear it on his sleeve. So on that point, I have to say you're actually incorrect. I actually have a picture right here. I don't know if we can pull it up, but yeah, he does like his falconing. So he doesn't always wear the bad things on his sleeve. Sometimes he also wears the Falcon there. Vic, last question for the show here today. When it comes to Cardano, you know, I don't need an exact date or any kind of exact price target, but what kind of range are you looking at for the next bull run? Cardano previously hit $3.09, I believe. Some exchanges maybe 10 cents, 11 cents, but briefly went above $3, and now we're sitting down essentially 90%. What's the range you're looking at for next bull run, you know, considering crypto's not a scam?
So the first all-time high we saw last bull run, everything was pretty correlated. So let's say that Bitcoin hits its all-time high, then I think we'll pass the current Cardano all-time high. As for dollar value, that's just not something that I really touch.
Okay. But you think if Bitcoin exceeds 69, we can potentially get past 309 for Cardano?
Yeah, I think it will correlate because I think it's fundamentally a strong project, and it is surviving. It's holding its ground during this bear market. And they're still rolling out. They're still developing. It's still a positive sentiment as opposed to, you know, we were talking about Solana earlier. There is not a positive sentiment around Solana ecosystem at this current time. So it's holding its ground. It's surviving, and it's staying with the pack. It's even climbing on CoinMarketCap as you presented. So I think, yeah, if Bitcoin gets all-time high, so will Cardano.
Will it gain or lose Satoshis?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. Okay, that is a tough one. That is a tough one. I'll say all-time high Bitcoin it will lose. Then a month later it will gain. Maybe if things track how they used to. But that is all we have time for. I thought Piano was going to take it home. Sin City, man, you just got all the Cardano facts. You just kept busting out another one and another one. Then you said Hydra. I had to give you 2 points there. Sin City Crypto, you end up taking it home. Feel free. Leave us with some parting thoughts, please, sir.
Well, big thanks to the Hit Network, also for hosting the Around the Blockchain show, and D0 is amazing. We had Ben in studio today. He was doing a show here. He'll also do it here tomorrow. A little personal sentiment is 2022 was a down year, and if you look at history, it's probably going to go up from here, at least this year compared to last. So time to DCA. Find your favorite projects. Identify the future, and yeah, get in now while cheap prices.
DCA, as the Mandalorian says, it is the way. Until next time, Bit Squad, you have a great day.